in essence, a decision tree. If these conditions are present, then this decision should be made. And the decision tree gets automated so that it becomes like a sorting mechanism. Google's very reliable for certain types of information. If you're using it in these kind of phone book fashion, it's fairly reliable. But when you start asking a search engine more complex questions, or you start looking for knowledge, the evidence isn't there that it's capable of doing that. It's this combination of hyperlinking, it's a combination of advertising and capital, and also what people click on that really drives what we find on the web. And this is where we start falling into trickier situations, because those who have the most money are really able to optimize their content. About the disparate impact.
Notice how my signal just cut out.
Online says about who you are.
I was the first African-American woman to get a PhD in computer science at MIT. So I visit Harvard. I'm being interviewed there by a reporter, and he wants to see a particular paper that I had done before. So I go over to my computer. I type in my name into Google search bar, and up will pop this ad implying I had an arrest record. An article, tell me about the time you were arrested. I said, well, I haven't.
Many of these interruptions are intentional.
So I click on the ad, I go to the company to show him not only did I not have an arrest record, but nobody with a LaTanya Sweeney name had an arrest record. And he says, "You did say that." If you type in the name LaTanya in the Google image search, you can see a lot of black faces staring back. Whereas if I type Tanya, I see a lot of white faces staring back. So we get the idea that there are some first names given more often to black babies than white babies. So I then took a month and I researched almost the ad would be neutral.
Just when there's a topic brought up they don't want you to hear, that's when
And
they
if
cut
your
out.
first name was given more often to black babies than white babies, you were 80% likely to get an ad implying you had an arrest record, even if no one with your name had any arrest record in their database.
That's what digital
One specific
TV,
way that algorithms
digital everything does. They can censor what they don't want
the idea
you
of
to
if
hear.
X then Y. If you have this type of name,
Not too long ago, you had analog airwaves. They couldn't do this. See, there's another example.
staple. The types of bias that we find on the internet are often blunt. We are being profiled into similar groups of people who do the kinds of things that we might be doing, and we're clustered and sold as a cluster to advertisers. And so there's certainly a commercial bias, but we also have the bias of the people who design the technologies. To think that technologies will be neutral or never have bias is really an improper framing. Of course, there will always be a point of view in our technologies. The question is the point of view in service of oppression? Is it sexist? Is it racist?
In the future of equitable technology, and if the people, when they were hiring me at Harvard, had typed my name into the Google search bar and paid attention to this ad, it put me at a disadvantage. And not just me, but a whole group of black people would be placed at a disadvantage. How could these biases of society be invading the technology that I really had grown to love? And now civil rights was up for grabs by what technology design allowed or didn't allow.
There's another one.
And that web page has a spot going to be delivered. And in that fraction of a second, while the page is being delivered, Google runs a fast
If you think that's a
digital auction.
coincidence, you're wrong.
And in that digital auction, they decide which of competing ads are going to be the. At first, the Google algorithm will choose one of them
If you
randomly.
pay attention, you'll see it
But if
happens
somebody clicks on one,
at the
then that
most
one
convenient
becomes weighted
times.
more often to be delivered. So one way the discrimination in online ads could happen would have been that society would have been biased on which ads they clicked most often, and that this would have represented the bias of society itself. Our technology
Why do you think
and our
certain
data
books
sharing are so
are
powerful.
starting to be banned?
They are kind of like the new policymaker. We don't have oversight over these designs,
Dr.
but
Seuss,
yet what the technology's design dictates the rules.
To
we
Kill
live
a
by.
Mockingbird.
And this meant that
Really?
we were moving from a democracy to a new kind of technocracy.
You gotta learn from history, not
I
hide
became
from
the Chief
it.
Technology Officer at the Federal Trade Commission. They're sort of the de facto police department of the internet. One of the experiments that I had done while I was at the FTC showed that everyone's online experience is not the same.
If you're sleeping, you need to really wake up fast.
What we lose with our hyper reliance upon search technologies and social media is the criteria for surfacing what's most important can be deeply, highly manipulated. One of the hardest case studies to write in my book was about Dylan Roof. He went online and he was trying to make sense of the trial of George Zimmerman.
The first thing that I guess we could say, I would say the world came up, would be the Trayvon Martin case.
Trayvon Martin, an unarmed black teenager, was shot down by a white neighborhood watchman who claimed self-defense.
Eventually I decided to look his name up, just type him in Google, you know what I'm saying? For some reason it made me type in the words black on white crime.
There you go.
To is the Council of Conservative Citizens. The CCC is an organization that the Southern Poverty Law Center calls vehemently racist.
That was it. Ever since then.
Let's say he had been my... I could have just immediately said, did you know that that phrase is kind of a racist red herring? The FBI statistics show us that the majority of white people are actually killed by other white people. But instead he goes to the internet and he finds the CCC and he goes down a rabbit hole of white supremacist websites.
Did you read a lot? Did you read books or watch videos or watch movies or YouTube or anything like that specifically about that subject matter?
No, it's pretty much just reading articles.
Reading articles?
Yeah.
And we know that shortly thereafter he goes into a church, murders 9 African Americans, and says his intent. This is not an atypical possibility. When you don't get a counterpoint to the query, you don't get Black Studies scholarship or FBI statistics or anything that would reframe the very question that you're asking of acting upon white power radicalization. But this is not unlike things that are happening right now every day in search engines, on Facebook, on Twitter, in Gab. People are being targeted and radicalized in very dangerous ways.